Prince Charming Misplaces His Bride by Christopher Healy. Illustrated by Davida Ortu. In the fictional nation of Harmonia, there lives a charming prince named Frederick, who has craved a life of adventure ever since he was a boy and met a visiting knight. Frederick's father, King Wilberforce, shields his son from any activity that might cause his son harm. Prince Frederick is not allowed to wrestle, do martial arts, or explore caves. One day, the king comes up with a plan to make Frederick forget his thirst for all things exciting. He arranges for Frederick to train a tiger. The tiger is toothless and already trained, but Frederick doesn't know that. Nevertheless, the prince's attempt at taming the wild beast goes very, very wrong. The king thinks his plan has worked, and it does, for a while. More than a decade passed before the thought of adventure found its way back into Frederick's mind. It happened on the night of the big palace ball, at which it was hoped that Frederick would find a bride. He never left the palace, so this type of event was the only way for him to meet girls. Among the dozens of elegant women at the ball that night, there was one girl who caught Frederick's attention immediately. And it wasn't just because she was beautiful and elegantly dressed. No, she had something else, a daredevil gleam in her eyes. He'd seen that look only once before, in that old night all those years ago. Frederick and the mystery girl had the time of their lives dancing together. But at midnight, she ran off without a word. "Father, I have to find that girl," insisted Frederick, newly inspired and feeling a bit more like his 7-year-old self again. "Son, you've never been outside the palace gates," the king replied in a foreboding tone. "What if there are tigers out there?" Frederick shrank away. That tiger episode had really done a number on him. Elegant. Someone or something that is elegant is stylish and pleasant to look at. Foreboding. If something is described as foreboding, it suggests that something bad is going to happen. Episode. An episode is an event or period of time that is important in some way. But Frederick didn't give up entirely. He instructed his trusted valet, Reginald, to find the mystery woman for him. It turned out that Ella, that was her name, wasn't a noble woman at all, just a sooty cleaning girl. But her story, the way she mixed it up with a fairy and used magical means to escape her wicked stepfamily, intrigued Frederick, even if he hoped he'd never have to meet any of her relatives. When he told his father he wanted to marry Ella, the king sputtered in surprise. "I thought I'd fixed you, but apparently I didn't," the king scowled. "You don't get it at all, do you? An ill-bred wife would destroy your image more than any scar or broken limb ever would." Up until that point, Frederick had always believed that the king enforced strict rules because he feared for his son's safety. But now he saw that wasn't necessarily the case. So, for the first time, Frederick stood up to his father. "You do not rule me," he stated firmly. "Well, technically you do, being as you're the king, but you do not rule my heart. My heart wants Ella. And if you don't bring her here to be with me, I will go to her. I don't care how dangerous it is out there. I would ride a tiger to get to her if I had to." In truth, Frederick was utterly intimidated by the thought of venturing out into the real world. If his father refused to meet his demands, He had no idea if he would be able to follow through on his threat. Luckily for him, the king was shocked enough to give in. And so, Ella came to live at the palace. She and Frederick were officially engaged to marry, and the tale of the magical way in which the couple met became the talk of the kingdom. Within days, the minstrels had a new hit on their hands, and the tale was told and retold across many realms. But while the popular version of the story ended with a happily ever after for Prince Charming and Cinderella, things didn't go as smoothly for the real Frederick and Ella. Scowled. If you scowled, you frowned or had an angry look on your face. Intimidated. Someone who is intimidated feels afraid of someone or something.